So if anyone is interested, I'm happy to share that.
Great, thank you. So we've heard from two people who actually had technical backgrounds. Will, give us your background and what you're doing now.
Thanks, Chuck. So I graduated in 1999 from Kellogg, and I've been in the Valley since then. I've done a combination of both startups and venture capital activity. So currently I'm the CEO of a Sequoia and Hummer Winblad funded company called Widgetbox. And I joined Widgetbox 2 years ago, and before that I was the managing director at Hummer Winblad and spent 6 years in the venture capital business. So since I got out of business school, I've had kind of the opportunity to see both entrepreneurs in action as a venture backer and thinking through business models and deciding who to finance and who not to finance. And then also having decided that to become an entrepreneur myself, and it's only recently I even consider myself one, quite honestly. But the last couple of years of running a small startup that's not profitable makes you one, I think. It's been a very interesting time to run a company. So no, I'm definitely excited to be here today and kind of share my thoughts about what business school taught me, what it didn't teach me about how to lead a company, bring products to market, sell, etc. And Chuck's right, like in terms of backgrounds, I went to Harvard, studied East Asian Studies and Finance, and started my career actually in Asia. So I worked in Hong Kong and Singapore, spoke Mandarin Chinese, and thought I was going to be part of the Asian miracle. And so I've done, I'm not coming from an engineering background, in other words, and so part of, one of the questions today I think is how do MBAs and finance people fit into a culture that's really driven by engineers as opposed to business types, and kind of the MBA being a joke as opposed to something good. I'm happy to be here and look forward to a good discussion.
Now, one of the things, Will, if I'm correct in reading this and listening to you, you joined Widgetbox after it had actually been founded. That's
correct. So there were 3 technical founders. They'd actually raised $10 million before I got there.
Some from you.
Some from me. I was the seed financer, and then Sequoia did the A round, and then Brent Jones and Tommy Vardell at Northgate did the B round. And at that point, they were looking for a CEO, and they did a 9-month search. And the last guy that we made the offer to, I told myself at the dinner, if this guy doesn't take the job, I'm doing it. He didn't take the job. So yeah. So
some different paths here. I mean, starting their own company, going out and trying to find the idea, put the team together, versus joining a startup after it's had the initial founders. The way we want to start this is to ask them a little bit about what led them to decide to follow an entrepreneurial path, because many of you are in business school or not in business school, you're thinking about this, and you've got a set of ideas in your head as to what it's going to be like to be an entrepreneur. And then what has been the biggest surprise for them as they joined the entrepreneurial world. So you've got a vision, what led you to do this, and then what's been the biggest surprise once you jumped in. Let's start with Nazila.
So I think I touched on that. For me, my job was such a big part of my life that unless I was very creative and had the freedom to do what I wanted to do, and didn't have to explain myself too much, I wasn't happy. So I thought that a smaller environment, less bureaucratic environment would afford that. I wanted to be my own boss. And kind of live and die by the decisions that I made. I also like adrenaline. I like living on the edge. I like being pushed to make decisions. I felt that I had too much cushion at Apple, frankly. My decisions really didn't make a difference. The juggernaut was going on, and I was doing my best, but, where was my contribution really? So those were some of the reasons that I decided to jump into the entrepreneurial pool. The biggest surprise though, and this probably you all are smarter than I was. I'm an immigrant, so I always thought of myself as someone who can do anything. Just give the problem to me, I'll do it, I'll take care of it. I really never put too much emphasis or attention on partners. And I learned the lesson the hard way. That in a startup environment, the biggest surprise for me was how much you needed partners. just like you can't have you can't have a baby on your own, I suppose. You could go adopt one. Maybe that's what you did coming in late as a CEO. I don't know. The analogy stops there. But I cannot emphasize the importance of partners, and I cannot emphasize how much I was lacking in that dimension, and how much I wish, had I done things a different way, to go back and make ideas, joint ideas, as opposed to my idea. So that was the biggest surprise for me.
Are you thinking about a partner in the sense of a founding partner, or are you thinking about a partner in terms of somebody in the supply chain or the distribution channel?
A founding partner more. Yeah, and I also, just let me briefly say that I think my experience in business school told me what I was good at, not what I was lacking. And so if I were to do it again, I would emphasize a lot what I'm lacking, so that defines the type of partner you'll be looking for. So more on that if the discussion goes that way.
Okay. Will?
Yeah, for me, I think it was just